Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down some really powerful life lessons. We're talking about how to get past the stuff that holds you back and figure out what a truly successful life actually looks like.
So, let's just jump right in with the core idea, the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. It all boils down to this one simple but seriously powerful directive. Don't be afraid. Sounds easy, right? But, it's often the very first and the toughest step on any journey that really matters. So here's our game plan. We're going to walk through 5 key ideas. We'll start with tackling that fear head-on, then move into finding your purpose, and then, this is a big one, rethinking what failure even means. After that, we'll talk about pressure, and finally, what the real prize is, a life of service. It's basically a roadmap to a fuller life. All right, first things first. Let's tackle the biggest hurdle that stands in pretty much everyone's way, fear itself. Now here's the really interesting part. The solution to fear isn't just about being brave. It's about self-knowledge. I mean, think about it. When you have a rock-solid understanding of who you are and what you're about, all that external noise and all those fears, they just don't have the same grip on you. Okay, so once you start to get a handle on that fear, what's next? Well, the journey then turns inward. It's time to find the real engine for your life's work. It's all about discovering your why. And let's be super clear about this. A calling is not a job title. It's not about the money. It's this essential internal energy. It's that thing that gives you juice, the thing that makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning. And here's the most important part. Nobody else can tell you what it is. It's all you. And wow, this story, it just perfectly captures the power of a calling. The grandmother's dream, it was born from her reality, right? A dream of security within the world she knew. But the next generation's calling, it just completely shattered that ceiling and created a whole new reality. One her grandmother couldn't have even imagined. So the big question, how do you actually find it? Well, it's a deeply personal journey. You got to start by listening to that gut feeling. And sometimes you find out what you are supposed to do by doing what you're not supposed to do. And through it all, just be grateful for where you are right now because every single step is part of the story. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Because let's be real, the path to finding your calling is never, ever a straight line. It's full of twists and turns and things most people would call failure. But we're about to completely rethink that word. And check this out. This is the huge mental shift we need to make. What the world calls a dead end? Nope, it's just a new direction. What feels like some big, embarrassing mistake, it's really just a lesson. See, failure isn't the end of the story. It's just feedback. It's the universe giving you a little nudge, pointing you somewhere new and usually somewhere better.
This quote absolutely nails it. If you're living in this black and white world of, I either succeeded or I failed, you're just setting yourself up for a really tough time. The key is to see life not as a bunch of tests, but as one long process of learning and adapting and growing.
And we see this play out in real life, right? Think about it. A promising tennis career comes to an end. A TV show gets canceled. A marriage falls apart. On the surface, those all look like major losses. But in reality, each one of those moments was actually a doorway to something new, something that led to a deeper kind of happiness and growth.
All right, let's talk about something you absolutely can't avoid when you're trying to do anything meaningful: pressure. Most of us see it as this bad thing, something we need to run away from. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? So let's look at the old way of thinking about it. You've got this incredible athlete, one of the best in the world, and his way of dealing with all that insane pressure was to just let it build up until, boom, an explosion. It was just a reaction, not a real strategy.
But then, you get this completely different take from another legend. And it's not just a small change, it's a complete flip of the script. Pressure is a privilege. I mean, what does that even mean?
See, that's the whole point. Feeling pressure means you're in the game. It means you're doing something that actually matters, something where the stakes are high. It's proof that you've earned the opportunity to do something great. It's not a burden you have to suffer through, it's a privilege you get to experience.
So this all leads us to our final and maybe the most important question. What's the end game here? What does it really mean to win at life? What is the real victory we should be aiming for? The big message here is that we need to shift our focus. Society is always screaming at us to chase success, the trophies, the titles, the accomplishments. But that can be a pretty lonely and temporary game. The higher goal, the real prize, is significance. And that's all about evolving as a person and measuring your life by how you serve others. That's where the real, lasting fulfillment is.
And this isn't some vague idea. There's actually a roadmap for this.
It starts with you. You have to serve yourself first by honoring your calling. Then you honor your circle, your family, your community, your roots. And once you have that strong foundation, you use your life and your unique gifts to serve others.
And you know what holds all of this together? Integrity. It's the one thing you can't put a price on. And the source is crystal clear about this. People are going to ask you to sell out again and again, but holding on to your values is the only way to build a life that actually matters in the long run.
And so that's the big question I want to leave you with. Take a look at your own life. What are you really chasing? Are you just collecting trophies and wins, or are you actively evolving into a better, more significant human being? The answer to that question, well, it might just define everything.